going on, broskies? It is Lupus, and in today's video I'd like to talk to you guys about the upcoming Battlefield game that has now been leaked, Battlefield Hardline or Battlefield Omaha. So what I'm going to go over today is everything that we know from it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it by now. However, a lot of people have not been able to cover yet that there was a trailer leaked for a game called Battlefield Omaha. Now, I believe that this was probably the code name for Battlefield Hardline, and this was probably a trailer that was made by Viseral Games to show to EA in an attempt to demonstrate what exactly the game was going to look like, what it was going to be like, and stuff like that before they finalized the name. And in this trailer, in the very bottom corner, it does say confidential property of Electronic Arts. So I'm not going to be uploading that trailer here. However, I will leave a link in the description down below to the guy who actually ended up uploading it to YouTube. So I'm not going to risk having any strikes on my channel, but if you would like to go see it on his channel, go right ahead and look at it there. The trailer is very interesting. It gives us a lot of information that does correlate very well with the information that we already had having to do with the weapons and the vehicles within Battlefield Hardline. Now that I've gone over the logos, I would now like to talk to you guys about everything else that is going to be integrated within the game. And these include who is going to be making it, the weapons, the gadgets, the game modes, and everything else that is going to be integrated, such as possibly destruction. So to start off with, the game is going to be made by Viseral Games. However, this is not going to be a game that is completely rogue and separated completely from DICE. Within the trailer that was leaked, we do hear that Viseral Games is making the game with the help of DICE. So that might only extend to the point where DICE gave Viseral Games their gun models and the game engine to the point where they could kind of start the game without having to start something completely new. They could kind of pick up and run with something and make it fairly fast in a way. So that might be as far as their help kind of extends, but I believe DICE probably talked with them and told them this is what you need to integrate in order to make it still feel like a Battlefield game. Now, this Battlefield game is going to have the first setting that is different from any other. In the past, every Battlefield game has had the setting of a military first-person shooter. This game, however, will be focused on the war on crime as its setting, where you will be playing as some sort of police force versus some sort of criminal force. And a lot of people already know this by now. Now, the game is going to be very teamwork oriented as well. Now, they have integrated a lot of gadgets such as grappling hooks and zip lines, which will help you and your team get behind and flank the enemy team, such as if you are on the cop side and you have to get inside of a building to get behind the criminals in order to win, then you will use the grappling hooks to possibly get on top of a building and drop down below and get behind them, which will definitely help you win the game in some sort of flanking way that has never been seen in any first-person shooter in the past. Some of the game modes include Heist Mode, where you will have a criminal team trying to rob a bank and the police force is trying to stop them. Rescue Mode, where you will have a criminal team that is holding hostages and the police force is trying to obtain the hostages from them and win the game. The next game mode is Hotwire Mode, where you will have a bunch of criminals stealing cars and trying to escape with them, driving across deserts, cities, whatever, and trying to escape from cops who are chasing them down in cars, helicopters, any means possible to get these car thieves. The next game mode is Blood Money, where you will have basically just a massive battle of cops versus criminals over a massive pile of money. Now, in all of these game modes, they all sound very teamwork oriented. You cannot win each of these game modes without having some sort of teamwork. Now, I'm sure there are going to be even more game modes. There will probably be some sort of team deathmatch game mode where you can basically do whatever you want in order to win the game. Just because you want to get kills, they'll probably have a game mode for that. However, these game modes seem very teamwork oriented, and Hotwire Mode sounds really awesome to me just because you can drive a Mustang around and try and escape the cops, which I think is going to be the coolest thing ever. The next thing within the game is destruction. Now, every Battlefield game has always had destruction, but this game was kind of questioned on whether it would have destruction just because of the fact that it's not made by DICE. However, from what the trailer shows, there's going to be a lot of destruction integrated within the game. and it is going to finally be set within the United States. We're finally going to have, I know everybody wished that Dragon's Teeth would have some sort of United States based maps, however, it did not. And this game is going to be primarily set in San Francisco from what I can tell, and there's going to be a lot of massive cities you can go into. You can go into small urban environments outside of the big cities and such like that, where you can have a lot of destruction. Some of the examples of destruction they give us is blowing up vaults, blowing up car dealerships, and in one scene they show a part of a roof being blown off and a guy driving off of that roof on a motorcycle and landing on the ground. So the destruction is definitely going to have a lot of additions to the gameplay aspect of the game. They also briefly mentioned the inclusion of levolution, so there will be some degree of levolution on all of the maps. The next thing I would like to go over is all of the weapons and gadgets that are going to be within the game. Now, I'm not going to go over every single weapon on this, but I will try and go over as many as possible, seeing as you can see most of them, and I'm just going to try and skim through them as fast as possible. The first thing we see in the corner is what looks like an AK-47, which we will finally get back in a Battlefield game, which is going to be really awesome. The next thing is a riot shield, which obviously will probably be used by the police force, and I doubt that the criminals will be able to use it, but who knows, there might be some sort of twist in logic where the criminals get access to the riot shields. The next weapon is the baseball bat. You get C4 charges. In the corner, it looks like some sort of security camera that you were able to set down. You get some sort of stinger, G36C, some sort of smoke grenade, a grappling hook, frag grenade, a compact 45, an Uzi, which is going to be really interesting to see within a Battlefield game, the M9 bayonet, what looks like an M16, hopefully it's the A3 variant. We can finally get back a fully automatic one, and within the trailer, it seems like he's shooting a fully automatic one, but I'm not exactly sure. Then you get the M40A5, the M9 pistol, the MG36, the P90, the G3A3, some sort of baton for the police force, an RPG, a repair tool, an SKS, a sawed-off shotgun, a taser, a Tech 9, which you guys might recognize from Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a UMP-45, a crossbow, and an 870 combat shotgun. The next thing I'm going to go over is the vehicle unlocks within the game. Now, I'm not going to go over any of these in depth. You guys can get a kind of look yourself and figure out what all there is there. However, it does include your basic stuff, such as the LMGs, the HMGs, maintenance from what it looks like with the image of the wrench, as well as a lot of other things that we have not necessarily seen before, which look very interesting. The next thing I'd like to go over is the weapon attachments that you're able to unlock. They include a series of scopes such as ACOGs, M145 times scopes. You also get a series of red dot sight, holographic sights, what looks like an extended mag, tactical flashlights, lasers, bipods, red dot sights, micro red dot sights, pistol red dot sights, ghost rings for your pistols, muzzle brakes, compensators, suppressors, sniper scopes, variable zooms, all kinds of things, grips. So you basically get a little bit of everything within this game. So we are going to see quite a bit of attachments, about the same amount I'd say as we see within Battlefield 4, but it does look very interesting, and it's definitely a lot of customization that you're going to be able to have on your weapons. The next thing I want to go over is the different classes that you're able to play within the game. Now, the classes do basically have the same roles as they did within Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 and stuff like that. You will have a medic class, an engineer class, a support class, as well as a recon class. However, the names will be slightly different. The medic class is now going to be called the operator class. However, their emblem and everything is exactly the same. The engineer class is going to be called the mechanic class. The support class is going to be called the enforcer class, and the recon class is going to be called the professional class, which is kind of ironic because a lot of recon players consider themselves pros because they're so good at using the recon class. So that's pretty ironic and pretty funny, and I think that's very interesting that they decided to add that within there. The next thing I'd like to go over is the vehicles that you're going to be able to use within the game. They do include, of course, helicopters, some sort of armored trucks, as well as a barrage of other vehicles that we have not really seen in Battlefield games in the past. If you did watch the trailer, you will also know that jets are going to be within it as well, because you see jets flying overhead several times, shooting down helicopters, and so you will be able to fly jets. However, it is not on this screen right here, but if you do watch the trailer that I will hopefully have linked in the description down below, then you will be able to see that. But all of the other vehicles that we were able to see are basically standard, just civilian type vehicles that we'll be able to drive. You will obviously be able to drive cop cars and cop SUVs, but it shows some gas trucks, some muscle cars such as the Mustang and the Challenger, which are both two things that have been shown within the trailer. And you will also be able to drive motorcycles, which it shows right there, which there seems to be a couple different variants of motorcycles, so there won't just be one particular motorcycle. They're going to be more of the what looks like faster motorcycles and the slower motorcycles as well. That is all the information I do have today for you guys on the next Battlefield game. I tried to give you guys everything that we know thus far, and if you guys have not checked out the trailer, if you guys have not seen it, then I will have it linked in the description down below. Hopefully the person who uploaded it doesn't have it pulled down too fast, so that some of you guys do get an opportunity to see it. However, the game looks awesome. I'm very excited for it. I know a lot of people were iffy because Visceral Games is going to be making it. However, the single player seems exquisite. That looks like they're going to finally have a decent single player within a Battlefield game, and it looks like the entire gameplay is going to be something very different but very Battlefield feeling, and I really feel like this is going to be really awesome, especially since I'll be able to drive a Mustang, which is the type of vehicle that I drive in real life. I actually drive a 2005 Mustang, and I can't wait to actually drive a Mustang within the game, which is going to be really epic. But that is all for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to hear your opinions on Battlefield Hardline or Omaha in the comment section down below. But as always, this has been Lupus, and I will catch you guys in the next one.